Today we will talk about extreme weather for healthy. With global warming, heat wave, storms, floods, and forest fire will become more frequent, and the public health system will be difficult to load. Scientists and health experts warn that climate change will become the biggest health threat in the 21st century. The rapidly changing climate environment has a serious impact on all aspects of human life. Extreme weather will cause harm to vulnerable groups. In addition to the mutation of infectious disease, it also poses a threat to food safety, drinking water, and air quality. Experts say that storms and floods caused by global warming not only cause casualties, but also force hospitals to close. Disease spreads rapidly, and many people lose their homes, leading to mental health disease.
我是历史系1年级甲班的林瑞竹。The increase in temperatures and the frequency of extreme weather events, such as high temperatures, low temperatures, and heat waves, are related to the onset of respiratory diseases. The interaction between meteorological conditions and air pollutants will also increase the risk of respiratory diseases. Air pollution can induce the acute exacerbation of COPD and onset of asthma, increase the respiratory morbidity and mortality. The health effects of air pollution depend on the components and sources of pollutants, which vary with country, seasons, and times. Combustion of solid fuels is a major source of air pollutants in developing countries. Changes in different meteorological factors will also affect the transmission of pollutants. The composition and concentration of air pollutants, such as the production and release of biological air pollutants, or human-generated air pollutants, or air pollutants due to increased energy demand. Exposure to air pollutants is confirmed to cause serious health effects directly or indirectly. With the increase in the concentration of ozone and other pollutants, it promotes the growth of plants that release air allergens. These changes cause poor outdoor air quality and increase the release of allergens in the air, and also affect indoor air quality. People with allergies or asthma increase allergic symptoms and stimulate asthma attacks due to the prolonged high concentration of pollen and pollen seasons.
I am Zheng Tingyu from the Department of History. Climate change reduces groundwater recharge, impacts freshwater ecosystems, alters water quantity and quality, and disrupts the water cycle and precipitation. The most indispensable thing for people is water. Once the quality of water is polluted, it will affect people's health. Extreme climate can also cause excessive carbon dioxide to affect rainwater. Generally, rainwater with a pH value of less than 5.6 is called acid rain. Acid rain will harm the growth of crops, which will lead to insufficient crop yield and cause food shortages. The reduction in production in the world's major grain-producing areas is the reason for the recent surge in international food prices, such as rice in Thailand, onions in India, wheat in the United States. By 2050, cereals price could increase even more, leaving millions of children without food and suffering from malnutrition. Take chicken and eggs as an example under the influence of extreme climates. The extreme weather caused the temperature to rise and the virus to be more difficult to control, which made the situation of bird flu more serious and also caused the reduction of corn and wheat production. Therefore, the cost of raising chicken becomes high. The farmers are reluctant to raising chickens. Chicken and eggs will become very expensive foods in the future.
老师你好，我是历史一家江淑涵。
Extreme weather increases the incidence of cardiovascular disease and indifferent, particularly high weather intensity increases the symptoms of cardiovascular disease, especially regular and irregular heart cardiovascular disease and strong in people living alone, especially in the elderly and living alone. The incidence of heart attack per 1.1 degree Celsius in the next month increased by up to 2%, and the relative risk of heart attack per 1 degree Celsius in the next week was 1.015 times higher. Cardiovascular disease is more fatal in sports than in summer. The elderly are more likely to have coronary blood vessel in the daytime weather due to the cold weather, vaccination, and poor normal control of the operation, and vascular disease and infection caused by eating less and more meals. The air pollution of elderly will lead to various disease and infection condition, vascular tinnitus, infection, and cardiovascular disease, reduction due to improved air pollution.
我是哲学系1年级制班郑玉涵。
Climate change has an impact on a large part of population. However, the delay in study on climate change and mental health consequences is an important aspect. Climate can produce strong phenomena with a disastrous impact among human societies. Disasters create a different kind of psychological distress compared to normal seasonal weather changes, as seen in tornadoes, floods, and droughts. Impacts on mental health can occur after or even before an extreme event. Mental health outcomes of climate change range from minimal stress and distress symptoms to clinical disorders, ranging from anxiety and sleep disturbance to depression, post-traumatic stress, and suicidal thoughts. Other consequences might include the effect on individuals and communities in their everyday life and experience response appropriately to climate change and its implications. Some natural disasters are possibly going to be more frequent because of climate change. Notoriously, reactions to extreme events that involve life disruption, such as loss of life, social support, and social networks, are post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and general anxiety, increased substance use or misuse, and suicidal thoughts. We believe that impact of extreme climate has caused changes in the entire human life system, which include physiological function and mental health. However, the frequency of extreme climate is getting higher and higher, and human beings must also adapt to the changes in this environment. After all, the ecology of the whole Earth is no longer as comfortable as before. This change is slowly evolved by human beings themselves. Not what we say can be changed. Maybe the days when we can adapt to these extreme climates are millions of years later. So what we can do now is to pay more attention to our physical health. In addition, we must also love the place where we live together.